The following readings are from the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita. Each week we read from both scriptures as prescribed by Yoga. I am self-offering in those who would expand their little lives into cosmic life. O Arjuna, know me as the eternal seed of all creatures. In the perceptive, I am their perception. In the great, I am their greatness. In the glorious, it is I who am their glory. Wise is the person who in all things beholds God as the doer, who gives to God the glory for all that he does well, and who sees in his every failure the failure only of his perfect attunement to the Lord. Wise is he who in all things sees the hand of God, who in laughter sees God's smile, and in sorrow sees the tenderness of God's reproach. For the world is a dream of God's. The appointed task of mankind is to awaken from the cosmic dream, and to live in conscious communion with Him, by whom and from whom the dream was produced. God in this passage of the Bhagavad Gita is saying not only, I am in the water, the moon, etc., but I am the water, the moon, and each and every thing that exists. It would be easy to conclude from these words that things in themselves are divine. It was in this error that idol worship became a sin. For when we love the creation more than the Creator, we become trapped in pettiness and forget who we really are, the children of the Lord. What we must do is love all things in God's name. There is nothing wrong with seeing God in the clouds at sunset and in a burst of sunlight through the treetops, with hearing His divine melodies through the songs of birds and feeling His power in the blowing of the wind. But those who look to these manifestations for their inspiration and forget the deeper reality expressed in these things sin against their own highest potential. Things are divine, not for their beauty. After all, not everything is equally beautiful, whereas God's presence is equally everywhere, but for the fact that locked in the heart of each of them may be found some godly message, some truth, some divine inspiration. The rocks convey a message of steadfastness. The honeybee tells us wordlessly to sip only sweetness, not filth. The clouds offer an example of aloofness from petty earthly preoccupations, while offering their help impartially to all through the rain. Behind everything we see, let us look ever to God's unseen presence. The Gospel of St. John in the Bible contains a passage that explains the essential truth that creation is a process of becoming. The universe is not separate from God the Creator, but a part of Him, even as our own dream creations during sleep are figments of our consciousness. God's is the life, God's the reality. Not a melody could be composed, not a poem written, were the melody and the poem not already there, simply waiting to be expressed. And this is the quote from the Bible, In Him was life, and the life was the light of men, and the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Ego-directed desire is like static. It distorts the radioed messages of infinity. But the pristine impulse from the divine, undistorted by limitation and delusion, is the life that gives rise to all that is. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om, Om, Om.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. And happy Pongal to everyone, or near Pongal. And I think that might be why we have a few less people here this morning, because since people will go away to their villages. And so anyway, we wish you all a blessed harvest. But that can be an inward harvest of divine love. And, Swamiji called divine love bliss in motion. And divine love is a way for us, if one would be in bliss, divine love is a perfect way to express that bliss to others, through our life, through everything we do. And the thing is, this reading, which I absolutely love, it is so inspiring, the way Krishna has spoken about who God is, how God is in everything. And let me just pull it up. I am the fluidity of water. I am the silver light of the moon and the golden light of the sun. I am the Om chanted in all the Vedas, the cosmic sound moving as if soundlessly through the ether. I am the manliness of men. I am the good sweet smell of the moist earth. I am the luminescence of fire, the sustaining life of all creatures. I am self-offering in those who would expand their little lives into cosmic life. O Arjuna, know me as the eternal seed of all creatures. In the perspective, I am their perspective. In the great, I am their greatness. In the glorious, it is I who am their glory. And so, he's writing about us when he said, I am self-offering in those who would expand their little lives into cosmic life. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to expand our little lives into cosmic life. We start out in this world just with our karma. Who knows? Master said, if you want Kriya Yoga, you've probably had it before in past lives. And if you just have that desire to find God, it comes from a desire that is planted inside of us lifetimes ago. And, maybe what we're trying to do for some in this lifetime is plant that seed now. But doubtful. Most likely anyone here who is willing to work on themselves and willing to work hard for Kriya and then willing to have a daily meditation practice morning and evening and putting the energy into all of that, you've done it before. And we have that good karma from before to carry us through the bad times that we might have. But life still is about ups and downs. And that is also in our own minds, where we have higher consciousness and lower consciousness. And this quote from the Bible is actually quite famous for those who know it. In him was life, and the light was the light of men. And in the Bible, men means just generally divine human. Divinity in humans. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. That's actually a famous quote. The light shineth in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. It can be kind of humorous sometimes. Like, suppose you give a really good idea to someone, and they just can't tune into the beauty of it. And they just put it down and say, no, I don't think so. And you can say to yourself, and the darkness comprehended it not. I think we can all relate to that. But what it's really referring to is a strong material mind cannot tune in and see the light, cannot be attuned to the divine and to the guru. What is material mindedness? Material mindedness is when we just see the cup is half empty. We look at things and we just feel critical. We say, this is not good enough, that is not good enough, this is not good enough. In a way, and what is also being said in this reading, is if we are just trying to perfect our surroundings, we're missing the point. Because can we ever actually perfect our surroundings? Never. And people will always disappoint us. And things will always disappoint us. We get a new thing. Ooh, I have my new thing. I love my new thing. And then where is it in a week? You know, okay, the car has been dented. It's been through its initiation process. And now on to the next desire. What else do I desire? Anyway, we all know these things can't bring happiness. And so, but we try, and it doesn't mean don't have things. Just don't try and find your happiness in the things. We all have needs and to live, and it's okay to live a healthy, wealthy life and have creature comforts, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if we worship it, then this is where Swamiji was writing that it's idol worship. When we worship our surroundings, when we worship the things we have, when we worship our desires for things and our goals in that way. Again, nothing's wrong with having goals. Nothing's wrong with having nice things. It's just a matter of where does my happiness lie? Is my happiness in those things? So this is material mindedness. And Swamiji ends this by talking about ego-directed desire is like static, meaning static on our wire that is trying to tune into God. We are trying to have a pure connection as much as possible. I should be pointing inward. We're trying to have as pure of a connection to God as possible. But with all the desires that are in our vrittis, we have static on the line. We can't achieve that perfection in our connection. It distorts the radioed messages of infinity. So what are we doing day to day when we are Kriya Yogis? We are living, trying to tune into the divine, trying to tune into Master, trying to tune into Swamiji, on a moment-by-moment basis. What is your will for me? What would you have me do today? And we listen to that. We're not slaves. If we've had enough of life, we are slaves to our desires. We learn that. Why not try something new? Why not try to tune into God's intuition that He is sending us? That is where happiness lies. Almost by definition of the Guru helps us find the most direct path to happiness and to God. The direct path. Did it say easy path? No. Unfortunately not. We could only hope. Sometimes we have big blessings. That's great. But this path to God is the most direct, even if it comes with pain, even if it comes with working through karma that is uncomfortable. We have that direct path. And so here, we can listen to the divine, we can listen to Master whispering in our ear, telling us, no, turn left, not right. How about this idea? How about that idea? Master said, all creative ideas already exist in the ether. Already, they're there. So when we are having a great idea, who are we getting that from? It's already there. It's already been created. Our creative part in that is to listen to the divine, to get the idea He wants us to have, and to implement it here and make life better for everyone. And so it doesn't mean we're not creative. We're creative in the human way we can do. And then you can take it a step further by hearing those great ideas that are there. But sometimes colleagues, one in one cubicle, one in the next cubicle, will say, I got a great idea and on how to solve that problem. And the other one says, I had that same idea. Well, what happened? Did one steal it from the other? Or because one person got it first, it's their idea? No, they both heard the answer come to them. And so, the good co-employee says, we both had this idea. We both decided to, work on this, and we had a great idea, and that's the positive thing. The bad one is, I had the idea, and that person stole it from me. They heard me say it first, and blah, 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 blah. So, but the pristine impulse from the divine, undistorted by limitation and delusion, is the life that gives rise to all in us. And so the other aspect of this is we can live in higher consciousness and live a happy inward life. And this is why we are given Kriya and given meditation to do twice daily, every day. And to be in higher consciousness, it really requires this continual effort. It doesn't always feel like effort, but at least 50% of the time it probably feels like effort. But if you learn to prime the pump of divine energy through your meditation, then you find that every time you meditate and get into a higher state of consciousness, it comes that much more quickly. Because you've already been priming the pump of this regular meditation. And it's not filled with, Master, when am I going to finally get there? Why do I have these thoughts during meditation? Everyone says that. Why do I have these thoughts during meditation? And we always say the same thing. Ignore the thoughts and go into the energy of the thing. But then everybody forgets that after a day and then says, why do I have to have these thoughts? It's like, forget it. Can you just forget it? Forget it. The thoughts don't mean a thing. The mind has to think. Yes, the mind must think. This is the reason we have a brain, to think. It only stops when you're in bliss, or almost stops when you're getting there. So why not instead bypass those thoughts and not give yourself such negative thinking? I'm such a bad meditator because I have all these thoughts. That just blocks inspiration. We're trying to feel inspiration in our meditation. We're trying to feel inspiration. So is thinking, I'm a terrible meditator, all I have are thoughts. When I had a really higher experience 10 years ago or 5 years ago and it never came back, and where is it? And I've been doing all this meditation, and where's my bliss? That's what God is hearing. And he's the one that gives the bliss. So maybe we need to address it a little more differently. That love is available now. Master called being in the presence of the divine as ever new. He called it ever new joy, ever new peace, ever new love, ever new. That means you never say, oh yeah, I felt peace yesterday, I want wisdom today. Because we learned the 8 manifestations. And so give me one each day, and I now say this is the one I get. And it doesn't work that way, does it? We're given what we need. And if we can just calm the restlessness and calm the mind, then beneath all of that is where all that peace and all that joy and love lives. It's there. But we have to get to that place of calmness. And we can even have all those thoughts when we feel calm. They just kind of come in. And it's like, push it away, or ignore it. That's what it hates the most, is when you just ignore it. Just ignore it. I'm focusing on the inward energy. There's a very real thing that's happening when we're meditating. We are drawing the energy into the chakras. They are no longer sending energy out into the world. We are drawing the energy into the chakras. We are pulling that energy up the spine, and we are focusing it here at the spiritual eye. It's as simple as that. I loved whoever said the spiritual path is 3 feet long. It's about how long the spine is, yes? But the astral spine, actually. But still, we are just trying to draw that energy up. When we're having thoughts and thinking more about the thoughts, what's happening now? The energy is now going out. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's like having a little periscope and trying to listen to what's in the conscious mind. And really what we want to do is, fine, conscious mind does that. But I am trying to just withdraw my energy. We are withdrawing our energy from those thoughts as well. We are withdrawing the energy with those techniques. We were given the gift of the techniques. We withdraw that energy with the techniques. It comes up to the spiritual eye. And over time, that pump is primed so that we are ready to receive the feelings of the presence of the divine. And we have to pay attention to the divine for God and Guru to pay attention to us. We can't just sit and meditate and then the other 23 hours of the day or 22 hours of the day, we're out of God consciousness. I got to do some important things now, And by the way, I'm only going to meditate seriously when I retire. So until then, this is what I'm doing. No, we don't have to do that. We can be in divine consciousness now, in the eternal now, and it will only aid everything we do in the world. It's a bit of a juggling act to feel higher consciousness and be in the world. But it's something you get used to. You get used to feeling the presence of the divine and doing your homework or solving a physics problem or dealing with a very difficult person or whatever it happens to be. And by being in that higher consciousness, you are more objective. You can solve the problem from a higher perspective. It's not just, hey, shut up. I'm on this level with you. Instead, it's like, Master, give me the solution to this. I wish for this person the best for them and for who they are. So tell me the answer of how to be to either resolve this issue or whatever it happens to be, and let that idea come from the divine. How should I do it? Rather than I know what I'll say, I know what I'll say, and then you think about it for hours and hours and hours and hours till you finally see them, and then you go, bleh! And then who knows what happens after that. Usually it's the wrong thing, isn't it? Because we've built up our emotional energy to then sock it to them with that emotional energy. That's just such the wrong way to address anything. We want to have our emotions and acknowledge them. And yes, this is very upsetting, and I really hate it. And Master, I'm giving it to you, and I'm trying to feel better about this, and please give me some higher consciousness about this. But most of all, give me calmness, so that when it comes to dealing with this difficult situation, I have the calmness in me to do the right thing. Because that's Dharma. And if we walk the path of Dharma, if we do Dharma in our lives, then we very rarely have to look behind us like, did anyone else hear that? Or did that person like pass my terrible email around? Or, why am I being fired? Or, all sorts of things that can happen because we misbehaved. If we just live in Dharma, then things kind of can take care of themselves. Yes, we might have some karma and get fired anyway. But I've been really amazed by the people I know here who have lost their jobs. Very often they contemplate, why did I lose my job? And go through the whole mourning process, which includes getting angry about it, denying that it should have happened, blaming everybody else, blah, blah, blah. These are normal human things we all feel. And we can't say, no, I'm spiritual, so I never feel that, Instead, okay, you go through the normal human feelings about stuff. And then once you've reduced some of that emotional energy out of you, you can then more consciously say, okay, Master, now give me some insight on this. What is going on? I would say 80% of the time, people find a job much better, more suited to them. Now, is it always more money? No. But they're more happy. Maybe that's 90%. I don't know. One person was very upset, lost his job, and then just got a beautiful job after that. But, it's also humiliating to lose your job. Even no matter what age you are, it's humiliating. No one wants to lose their job. And so the ego really gets a punch, like, you're not good enough, so we are firing you. That's basically the message, right? And you have to say, you know what? I am good enough. It was just not a fit, obviously. And I'm going to miss it, and these are the things I'm going to miss it. But here's the things I'm not going to miss. And Master, please give me what I need. Please give me what's going to help me the most. And never give up. I look at Saluja, and I just think, never give up. She has great willpower. She will never give up until she gets that job that she wants. And so, never give up. Master said, I will shake the world to get the job if I had no job. And he was saying that during the Depression in America. I think there was a depression around the world as well. But he was saying that, shake the world to get that job. Shake the world. We have the power of the guru with us. Why not shake the world? So, I wanted to go a little bit more into the restless aspect of things. Restlessness is what really keeps us out of our higher consciousness state. There are things we can do on a physical level to help ourselves with restlessness. Maybe you feel restless right now, listening to me going blah, 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 blah. But that restlessness is something you want to get to know inside yourself. What makes me restless? Now, desires make us restless. Also, there can be physical reasons, like I'm not getting enough exercise. And so maybe if I go for a run, then I will feel like meditating. Maybe if I go work out or do something physical or do a do-it-yourself paint job on my house or something to get out some physical energy to be able to then gather your energy and pull it up and bring it up with less restlessness. So try to identify your type of restlessness. There's also people who will have spiritual restlessness. They'll take discipleship and then get bored and then want to search elsewhere for things. And, I found a new technique. It's just like Master's. I found this new thing. It's just like Master's teaching. It's like you're not going deep if you're just reaching outside yourself and beyond what you've been given. Of course, not everyone is at the stage where it's time to focus just on one path. I myself went through the spiritual candy store of San Francisco Bay Area, which had gurus everywhere. And I would go to all these gurus and then finally found Ananda and had my connection with Yoganandaji. And then for me, because I guess whatever, I was done looking around. I was done, and I haven't looked around in over 30 years since then. So you want to do that. But if you're starting to get bored, it's because you're not able to drill down in meditation enough. Because if you are feeling that divine love, you don't feel the need to try this thing also and that thing also to, no, it makes me feel great. Well, a lot of the times it's kind of mental what is going on. So, there's a beautiful story and autobiography of a yogi about Swami Sri Yukteswarji. And it's that part in the book where it talks about Babaji visiting Sri Yukteswarji, and he visits him 3 times, or at least I should say Sri Yukteswarji sees him 3 times. And the first time, Babaji is explaining kind of this marriage of East and West on our path, and asking Sri Yukteswarji to please write his book, which becomes the Holy Science, which compares the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita writings, and to show the underlying truth of both of these. And that's why we even have Christ representing Christ consciousness, Krishna representing Krishna consciousness. Christ and Krishna consciousness are the same thing. You can't confuse it with Christianity. It has nothing to do with that. It only has to do with gurus who have disciples, us, and follow the yogic path. Nothing to do with some organized religion. So this is where in the autobiography, Yoganandaji started the tradition of comparing the two because of Sri Yukteswarji's book as well. So anyway, Babaji says, I'm going to visit you again when I am when I know that you have written the book. And so he has written the book, and then Sri Yukteswarji says, wait, I need to go and get some sweets. I'm going to go and get you something. And Babaji was there with what Sri Yukteswarji said, a bunch of attractive disciples. No doubt they were filled with spiritual energy. But Sri Yukteswarji got a little excited. Now, did an avatar who already knows God get a little excited? I don't know. Master often said that the book Autobiography of a Yogi was often written so that disciples like us could identify with what was going on. But I tend to believe on some level, perhaps because Babaji is the avatar of avatars, basically, and then there was the avatar who got a little excited. I guess. That's all I can guess. And so our avatar got a little excited and wanted to give him sweetmeats and things. No doubt rasgulla and all those other yummy things that put you into a sugar coma when you're in Kolkata. And so Prasanna was just telling us the first time he had rasgulla, he drank the syrup also. Last time he ever did. And so anyway, though, then Babaji disappears. And then Sri Yukteswarji is hurt. And wouldn't all of us be hurt? Hey. And then he sees him for a third time, but doesn't see him at first. And Lahiri, Sri Yukteswarji goes over to Lahiri's house. And Lahiri says, didn't you see Babaji at the door while you came in? And he says, no. And then Lahiriji touches him, and then he turns around and he sees Babaji, and it said, and I did not bow. And Lahiri was shocked. that this, what is going on here? And then Babaji said, I hurt your feelings, didn't I? And then he said, I told you I would see you after you wrote the book, but I didn't say how long I would see you. And so Sri Yukteswarji said he laughed at himself and realized, of course he had been in the wrong. But it's a example of restlessness. There's many stories of people who are with their gurus, and then they get an idea in their head, and rather than just be with the guru and soak in as much divine energy as possible, they want to do something. And it's with that kind of energy that makes that inspiration disappear. And that can be any emotional energy. It can be anger, it can be restlessness on any level, it can be any sort of emotional energy that suddenly gets stirred up, and it just makes the bliss and the higher consciousness disappear. How many times have we meditated, come out of meditation, and then had upsetting news or suddenly felt upset about something? Where did all the peace go? It just goes, phew, it just blows away. And so it's just so easy to do that. That's why we always recommend, after you meditate, give yourself a cushion of, a half hour if you can, where you don't look at your phone and just have a nice breakfast or whatever it is. Allow that peace to settle inside. Now, this part I'm talking about is not the part we say after you do the techniques, you sit for at least 20 minutes, 30 minutes to allow the technique to do what it does. Because you don't want to stir up vrittis and then get up and get in your car. Because the vrittis didn't settle and they didn't do what they should have done. So you want to make sure they settle in the silence. And then after that silence, then you're done with that part of things, and then have a peaceful time afterwards. Just give yourself that time, and that peace will grow. Because you're no longer only having peace in meditation, you're having the peace afterwards in your regular life. And then try and bring that peace into your work, into your family. Try and bring that peace. It's a very authentic peace. It's not, excuse me, the meditator has meditated and is feeling very peaceful now. Stop that! I'm feeling very peaceful though anyway. Blah! That's not peaceful. So just try and you can quietly be peaceful and give that to your family. Give that to your work. Give that. It doesn't mean you're not powerful and you don't have strength and courage to do things and all that kind of stuff. But that peace, let that wash away all the stuff that you have to deal with in your life. Let it just wash away that. Allow yourself to feel that peace. Allow yourself to feel it for as long a period of time. Allow yourself to integrate that into the rest of your life. Okay, nice to see everyone. Thank you.